Hello everyone, I'm Professor Ozan Örmeci. I continue to host some important, valuable scholars around the world. Today we have a guest from Bulgaria. Dr. Marian Karagyozov is a researcher, scholar, academic from Bulgaria, and he stayed in Turkey for a few months and he made observations from firsthand. He made and submitted his PhD research, PhD thesis on Turkish foreign policy recently in his country, and today we'll take his valuable views. Marian, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So, Marian, we had a good time together in Istanbul. We visited together Sveti Stefan, Bulgarian Orthodox Church in Balat, also known as the Iron Church. And you were in Istanbul for a while. I don't know how long, but you made first-hand observations about life in Istanbul, in Turkey, democratic problems of Turkey, socioeconomic problems of Turkey. And Bulgaria is a friendly neighboring country. We really like Bulgarian people. We have good connections. So, and our economies are also somehow integrated. So, what were your experiences there, both good and positive and negative aspects, please? Because your observations are of critical importance for us as Turkish citizens who want to improve our democracy and quality of life. So, please, it's your turn.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the question. Actually, let me share a few details about myself with the audience, just in order to familiarize our viewers with my experience. Actually, I started as an academic, as a PhD student and candidate at Institute of Balkan Studies, which is part of the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. This is our national research institution, but another opportunity popped out to apply for a position in Bulgarian National Radio as a correspondent, and they accepted my application because I had some background related to Turkey. When I was a PhD student, I was also regularly contributing to different media outlets in Bulgaria. I was giving interviews, so I had some journalistic experience, which combined with my expertise, to call it, on Turkey, allow me to spend, as you mentioned, time in Istanbul as a correspondent for the Bulgarian National Radio, and actually, it was a very valuable experience for me because Turkey is a complex society, very complex society. I think Istanbul is a perfect place for a foreigner who wants to study and to observe Turkey, because in Istanbul we have people from all around the country. We have people from different regions, from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Um, our viewers probably are familiar with the center and periphery concept. This an article written in 1973 by a Turkish sociologist trained in the US, Sherif Mardin, who says that with a question mark. Let's underline this. That perhaps center periphery is the key concept under explaining the social political dynamic of Turkish society. However, currently, I think these concepts are very much blurred because in Istanbul we have 39, if I'm not mistaken, districts, and these districts are very diverse in terms of their socioeconomic background. So, uh, and also, we have districts which are uh, not fitting into this concept because we have emerging Islamic bourgeoisie, Islamic middle classes. They have spending, they have habits like classical European middle classes, but at the same time, they're wearing scarves. Turkey is extremely complex society, and my task, as I understood it, uh, at that time was to try to translate European societies to the Turkish friends, and also to try to translate Turkish society to the Bulgarian audience. My first-hand experience, everyone was very positive and very warm when I say I'm from Bulgaria. I don't know why is that. Probably Bulgaria is a neighboring country. Turks know Bulgaria. We have our shared historical past. Probably part of the explanation is that Bulgaria is not a country which is threatening Turkey in a way politically or somehow. But as you said, we have excellent relations in many fields. Especially Bulgarians are very numerous when they're among the top six nations visiting Turkey. Uh, People from Britain, from Germany, from Russia, from Bulgaria, from Georgia, from Iran are the top six countries sending people to Turkey. We have approximately like 6 billion USD annual trade over, which is big. Especially, I mean, for Turkey it's not that big, but for Bulgaria, which is a small country, this is significant. Turkey is our biggest trade partner outside the EU, and also surpassing by far many EU countries. So, as you said, Iron Church, Demir Kilise, or Sveti Stefan Church. It was restored.
There was a ceremony, right? Bulgarian then Prime Minister Boyko Borisov was there, President Erdogan was there. So it was a big
Yes,
issue at that time.
absolutely. After a long restoration process, the church had been restored. The main contribution came from the Turkish, at that time it was 16 million Turkish lira. It was 2018, if I'm not, yes, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Bulgarian government contributed 1 million Turkish lira, and the rest of the money were given by the Turkish authorities. But at the same time, Bulgarian government is taking care of some mosques in Bulgaria, which are part of the Turkish cultural heritage. So it's a bilateral agreement for protection of cultural heritage. So Turkey is paying for the restoration of Bulgarian churches in Edirne and Istanbul, and Bulgaria is paying for the restoration of some mosques in Bulgaria. And also Turkey, of course, is donating some money for preservation and restoration of the mosques in Bulgaria. I think this is a very positive practice.
Yes, what a great achievement. I mean, I want to congratulate both governments and countries and their peoples also for this friendly relations. And you mentioned that there is no, unfriendly behavior towards Bulgarians or big political issues between Bulgaria and Turkey. But I mean, just 4 decades ago, that during the communist rule in Bulgaria, there was a tense period. So the image of Bulgaria wasn't very good. So it shows also the success of Bulgarian state, especially maybe after becoming a full member to European Union. So I want to congratulate Bulgaria also. Marian, your expertise is on Turkish foreign policy. You wrote a PhD dissertation on this, and it seems quite interesting. I should admit I didn't read the full thesis yet, but it seems very interesting and high quality. And you made important research in Istanbul, Ankara, I know. You mainly studied the early Party era between 2002 to 2011, I think, before the Arab Spring process. And I think your findings are extremely important for Turkish audience and Turkish foreign ministry because, that was maybe the most successful era in Turkish economy and Turkish foreign policy. When you look at this time period at hand, Turkey was making democratic reforms. Turkish economy was booming, 7, 8%, 9% growth rates in each quarter. Plus, European outlook towards Turkey was great. There were problems with the US, but relations with Russia and all other countries were also good. So, what were your findings? I mean, Turkey obviously it wasn't implementing very maybe hard policies or hard power methods towards its neighbors, maybe. But of course, I don't mean that now we are doing it because of our own decisions. There are some structural problems. But what was the key to Turkey's success, do you think, in this time period?
Oh yes, as you said, the topic of my dissertation was Middle Eastern policy of Turkey from 2002 until 2011. In the first chapter of my thesis, I'm putting this Turkish foreign policy towards the Middle East in this period in a context starting from the establishment of the Republic. So I basically claim that contrary to the popular view in the media, Turkey was never fully distant from the Middle East. Yes, in some periods, in some decades, the decades, um, Turkish leadership, Turkish political elite was trying to distance itself culturally from the Middle East. But if we just mention the Mosul issue, Alexandretta or Hatay issue, recognition of the Turkish borders, Democrat Party foreign policy towards the Middle East, towards Syria especially, and Iraq. Baghdad Pact in the 50s. So also 70s when Turkey became gradually more and more involved in Islamic conference. At that time it was called the organization, now it's Islamic Cooperation Organization. uh, all this and later on Turgut Özal's era, all this shows us that Turkey was always in a sense, in a way, involved in the Middle East, because it's natural. It's natural because basically this is a neighboring region, and uh, you have some issues, territorial, transborder, rivers, water, terrorism, whatever, etc. So I basically try to show some continuity and some changes in Turkish foreign policy towards the Middle East in my first chapter, and then in the next chapters I analyze relations between Turkey and immediate neighbors, Syria and Iraq. The neighbors of the neighbors, or the geographers, as far as I remember, call it second rank neighbors, like Jordan and Lebanon, and also the relations of Turkey with Gulf countries. Uh, yep, actually, so that's the structure basically of my work. Actually, the decade at the beginning of the new millennium, the new century, was very good for many countries, because at that time the global economy was growing. So we should contextualize Turkish economic success at that time, having in mind that also other developing countries. Um, Significantly, they marked significant growth of their economies. Yeah, but at that time, Turkish foreign policy was dynamic. It was proactive, as it was called by Ahmet Davutoğlu, the foreign minister at that time. Turkey was pursuing this zero problems policy, and actually having written the thesis after some time, gave me the how to say the lag, the necessary time lag to assess both the shortcomings and the strengths of these policies. And with as you mentioned, with the beginning of the Arab Spring, all this changed because threats, another security environment emerged. So it's a debate. It's a debate in the academic literature. Was Turkey willingly pursuing more ambitious and more militarized in some years foreign policy, or it was just a necessarily response to the events unfolding in neighboring regions like you know proto-Kurdish state in Syria and Daesh rise in Iraq and Syria. So it's an open question. Uh, and also we can say that after this probably militarization period in Turkish foreign policy is over. After 2020, Turkey returned to diplomacy and trying to mend the ties with UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. So gradually, this happened, and relations with countries relations which were harmed after the Arab Spring were gradually restored.
Thank you, Marian. I share your conclusion. I mean, Turkey tried to, in fact, spread European values, Western values, democracy, human rights to supported, I mean, these movements, but due to structural problems and security risks, this didn't produce very good results in the end. That's why Turkey had to militarize its foreign policy and maybe put a more security-oriented agenda. But of course, criticism towards the erosion of democracy is for real. I agree with some of our European friends, critics. So another question that comes to my mind, Marian, unfortunately, we don't have, we have businessmen who operate businesses with Bulgarian companies who goes to Bulgaria frequently. But unfortunately, in academia, maybe I'm not very familiar, but there isn't someone specifically specialize in Bulgarian politics. So how is the situation in recent years between Bulgaria and Turkey? And also as for Bulgarian Turks, which could be seen as the heritage of Ottoman times, Movement for Rights and Freedoms Party. It's an party that was established by Turks, Bulgarian Turks. I think their number is exceeding 500,000, and they were at the government position for a few times, I think, in Bulgarian politics. And now, recently, there is a new Bulgarian prime minister, I guess, Mr. Rosen Zelyaskov. So his maybe approach to Turkey could be also interesting for our audience. Please go ahead.
Okay, those are broad and a couple of questions. Academically speaking, in Bulgaria, we are very proud that we always had a very strong Ottoman studies tradition. In our institute, especially, we have a special department specializing in Ottoman history. It's logical because in Bulgarian libraries, in the National Library, we have a very good records, a very good documents, collection of documents. Um, Unfortunately, yeah, the number of people dealing with contemporary Turkey, in my view, in Bulgaria is insufficient. As far as I know, in Turkey there are some um, mostly people with background from the Balkans researching relations between Turkey and the Balkans, including Bulgaria.
Yes.
But I know some colleagues which are very good in their field. For example, Didem Ekinci,
Oh, yeah, I know.
Professor Birgül Demirtaş,
Yes.
she's Mehmet Uğur Ekinci, we worked together with him, so he is knowledgeable, and he speaks Serbian. He reads Bulgarian, so this is an asset. Also, there are other young scholars. There are historians
Yes.
studying different parts of history. As far as Bulgarian Turks are concerned, with the um, okay, yeah. Where to start? It depends where to start. But as you said, they're part of the Ottoman heritage. Um, the socialist Bulgaria tried to integrate them until the last decade of the socialist rule in Bulgaria, where this very unfortunate and tragic attempt to change the names of the majority of the Bulgarian Turks happened, which of course created some resistance and some negative feelings. However, even the Communist Party admitted its mistake and retracted this policy. And with the democratic constitution in Bulgaria, um, all Bulgarian citizens have equal rights. Basically, as you mentioned, since the beginning of the Bulgarian democratic transition, uh, the party Movement for Rights and Freedoms, which is representing the rights of the minorities, is present in every Bulgarian parliament since then. Uh, they a couple of times participated in the in governments, having ministerial positions. And also, I think because you mentioned our new Prime Minister, Mr. Rosen Zhelyakov,
Yes.
I don't think Bulgarian-Turkish relations are actually conjunctural or dependent that much on specific politicians. I would say the relations are more strategic. They're very solid. They have their own basis, I mean, legal basis in terms of uh, different cooperation, bilateral agreements. So doesn't matter
Economics
who is
also,
the.
isn't it?
Sorry.
Economics also.
Yeah. In many fields like healthcare, the social security, pensions of Bulgarian Turks which migrated to Turkey, energy, trade, economy. So every possible field, border cooperation, anti drug trafficking, anti-organized crime cooperation, everything. So we can very easily observe that very few changes happen in Bulgarian-Turkish relations with changes in Turkish and Bulgarian governments. So the relations continue very smoothly. So what else? What else?
It should be an example for Turkish-Greek relations, maybe. What do you think, Marian?
Oh, well, it's completely different dynamics
Yes,
because
sure.
because we don't have unresolved border issues, we don't have this kind of tensions, and also the bulk of the Turkish trade with Europe crosses through Bulgaria, Serbia, then Croatia. So basically, Bulgaria is the Turkish gate to Europe, and vice versa. And yep.
And maybe another question that comes to my mind. I mean, of course, the situation is difficult. Different Turkish Kurds in Turkey are not part of a minority; they are principal citizens. But I mean, the experience of movement for rights and freedoms, Bulgarian Turks, their politicization. Of course, they never adhere to violent methods, terrorism methods, etc. That's the situation is completely different. Uh, but again, their experience could it tell us some kind of exemplary models, methods, Bulgarian democracy to Turkish democracy. What do you think, Mariam?
Well, actually, at the end of the 90s, there were some, let's say, armed groups among the Turkish population in Bulgaria. But this doesn't translate into a sustained ethno-political conflict. So this attempts, for example, there were a couple of bombing attacks and this and that.
Mm.
Uh, Thanks God, this doesn't resulted into an intra-ethnic conflict.
Yes, never.
Yeah, both Bulgarian politicians with Turkish ethnic origin during the transition period, they were emphasizing on Bulgarian ethnic model and contrasting this ethnic model to what is happening in Yugoslavia at the time, because you know the dissolution of Yugoslavia was quite bloody.
Yes.
So uh, it was, as you said, it was a very, very significant achievement of Bulgarian transition in some aspects like economy, social issues. The price of the transition was very high. I mean, a lot of people were impoverished. Retired people suffered from the low amount of their pensions, but ethnically we preserved the peace, the ethnic peace, the ethnic relations, and Bulgarian state never intervened in a very brutal way. For example, like dismissing Turkish mayors of small cities or bigger cities. The question of de facto, the MRF was always accepted as part of the as a legitimate part of Bulgarian political life. So no one questioned whether Bulgarian Turks has the right to be represented. So these are good examples, I guess.
Thank you, Mariam. Very interesting. I didn't know too much about it. I will read more. And maybe one last question, Marian. You mentioned several important Turkish Balkan experts, but they work on mostly Turkish-Greek relations, also Bulgarian relations, Balkan issues. But you also said that there are some departments related to Turkey, Ottoman history studies in Bulgaria. So what are these institutions? I mean, for maybe postdoc positions or for PhD candidates, could they apply for Bulgarian universities? What are the options specializing in Turkish politics and Turkish foreign policy or Ottoman studies in Bulgaria?
Uh, well, I guess the main obstacle is the language barrier.
Yeah.
Because if you're a young colleague who is striving to apply for a PhD or postdoc, you have to find an institution offering at least English language or foreign language, French probably, um, courses or classes, which is not very easy sometimes because, as far as I remember, not that much classes about Ottoman history are offered in English. We have our Bulgarian experts, but they offer their classes in Bulgarian. But we have a national program. Bulgaria have a national program for promoting in a sense, in a way, the Bulgarian studies abroad. So if someone is studying Bulgarian, there are options to come to Bulgarian higher education institutions to study or to do specialization. And also in our institute, we are proud that we are currently hosting at least two colleagues from abroad. Paola is from Italy,
Mm.
but she's also studying medieval Bulgarian culture or something like that. So I think she's also trying to or learning or having some knowledge of Bulgarian. She's in another department, so I don't know her very well in person. But at least we have two colleagues, and our institute will be more than happy to receive application from your students or any other Turkish students, of course. It's just it's a matter of fitting and matching their ambitions and their topics of interest and what we could offer, because you need to have people specializing in a special field to be of a greatest help for a student. Um, and recently we had the pleasure to welcome at our institute a delegation from Turkish Historical Society.
Oh,
Um, we're hopeful that probably we'll have more opportunities to exchange documents or to work together on joint projects.
why not? Thank you, Marian. It was a pleasure. I had a terrible flu, so my voice wasn't good, but you did fine. Thank you so much.
Same with me, by the way.
Sorry, the weather is a bit problematic these days.
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah.
It will be sunny soon, hopefully, in both countries.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Tim.
bye, Marian. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.